So these breaks from open to close on a daily chart are completely made up, and they're completely arbitrary, and I have no idea how many traders are actually looking at the same thing I am. This, on the other hand, I know they're all looking at, because they have to. What does that mean? What's the point of all that? Am I just blowing hot air or what? Well, what it means is this Friday close is very, very important. Why? Well, think about it. Because during this week, traders said there's no way on earth that pounds are worth that much. But then they also came in and said, well, you know what? They're not worth less than that either. So what they're saying, basically, is pounds are worth somewhere in between these numbers. Now, the reason why I look at this, and I gave you the example the way I did, was because the market actually pulled up off of the low. Okay, so what that tells me is traders were not convinced enough during this week to keep on. They weren't convinced that there was enough bearishness. They weren't convinced that there was enough supply. They weren't convinced that the dollar was weak enough to continue selling. And they actually bought near the end of the week. How do I know that? Well, I know that because price closed off of the weekly low. And you can see that happens actually right here. Price comes down, bounces up. Comes down, bounces up. That's what happened. There's the close of the week. Here, right here is the close. Right on this bar. So you can see that they did buy. They bought near the end of, in the very last few hours of Friday. Traders were pushing their position up, and who cares why? Who cares if they're trying to book profits or if they're, you can come up with a million different reasons. Who cares? All that matters is that price moved up. So that means that the bearishness, it let up a bit, didn't it? Now, I have seen weeks that close nearly to the tick on the low. That means that people were just bearish from Monday to Friday, man. They just pushed price down. That was not the case here. So that means that this close and this low are going to be significant for me. What I want to see is if price does trade below these lows and then it comes back above them, what that tells me is it's likely that selling has ended. Now let's go back to some more concepts here. And this one is pretty simple. If you have $1 billion, okay? 1 billion with a B, okay? And you put into the market, let me make this a bit thicker for you, $1 billion. That's how much you have in the market. That's how much money you have. Can you make another trade? The answer is no. Why? Well, because all of your billion is in the market. Okay, it doesn't matter if you have $1,000. If you have $1,000 and you put a trade on that takes $1,000, can you make another trade? No. If you have $100,000 and you put $100,000 into the market, can you make another trade? No. You've taken all of your available money and you've committed it to trades. Well, that is happening all throughout here. People are putting more and more money into the market, and for whatever reason, whether they don't want to allocate all their money, whether they have strict money management rules, or whether they just put their whole wad in the market, it doesn't matter. They don't have one more free penny to put into positions to sell the pound. What does that mean? Well, that means if price starts to climb back in this area, can they sell it again? No. They can't. That's the basic principle here. It's very simple, really. So when price gets back above this close, it's significant for me because now I'm thinking that there's a likelihood that the market can keep going up because the people who sold are already sold. That's why when the market goes up higher and higher and higher and more people buy, who's left to buy? Who's left to buy? This is how institutional traders think. This is how syndicate traders think. When price is coming down, they're looking to buy. I'm not going, and I'll give you one of the reasons why is because their positions are so large. And you have to think about it.